Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin. The lover's right, let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. You thought I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. But lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your words, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, oh you have reached your lover's end. No more will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. 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 you wanted was love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. You were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. We're all looking to be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy.
Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here, Black Flag Racing TV, and something a little bit different for you this Monday evening. This is the GT Invitational final round, Season 2 final round from Bathurst. You can see up there some information about what's going on this evening. It's quite complicated, so stick with me. I think I've got the hang of what's going on. So essentially two races. First race, 15-minute qualifying, followed by a 30-minute race. Softs and tyres are mandatory. Now race number 2 is the grid as finished from race 1, so essentially the first race is like a sprint race, for want of a better expression, which sets the grid for the 1 hour race. Soft, medium, hards available. Must use the hard compound tyres, but it's not just that simple. So the top 3 are ballast weighted, so essentially to even the field a little bit. There is massive championship battles across the field in the AM and Pro, and Pro classes. The top 3 can win the overall championship. There's a team championship, all sorts. I'll go for it in a second anyway when we see the lot. So we'll jump across. So there's the lobby. People are jumping in and getting ready to go. I think qualifying starts in about a minute's time. So let's have a look at tables and stuff, shall we? Hopefully this works. I was playing with it earlier and it should work. So there we go. That's the current table for the Pro Class. Pine GTS, 548 points at the top of that leaderboard, with Pagani and Lee Cole in second and third, 467 and 445 respectively. Lead from Team Hard, not it didn't look like he's raced much because he's only got 6 points on the board for the Pro Class. Looking at the amateur class, Dominic leads the way there, 462 points. Yeah, boy, how you doing, Nightfire? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Joker on 433. Dusty Fossil, how you doing, mate? 424. And I'm never going to give him up. There's Mick Astley with 357 points. That's not the only time you're going to hear that ridiculous joke this evening. Thick Dane, and then I'm Bruce Lee. I'm assuming that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but we'll see. There we go. Team points, Team Spirit, 1,010 points. E-Team Hard, number 2 on 900. Never going to give you up. I wonder if Mick Astley's in that team. I wonder. 802 points from Royally Thick Racing, 750. Team Hard, team number 1, 430 points. That might be because Lead is probably in that team. He's only scored 6 points. And team number 6, 422 points in, ironically, 6th place. And I do apologise for the screaming in the background. My daughter has decided that she wants to make as much noise as possible. So overall, that's what the table looks like. Pine GTS leads the way, of course, 548 points, with Pagani on 467. Dominic leading the amateur class with 462 points, 3rd in the overall table. Then we've got Lee Cole, Joker, Dusty Fossil on 424, etc., etc., etc. So that's the information we've already seen. That 15-minute qualified, 30-minute race. Soft and hard's mandatory in this 30-minute race. We don't need to go over that again. You already know what's occurring. There's some information about this awesome circuit. Mount Panorama, or Bathurst, as I like to call it. Well, it is Bathurst, because that's what it's called. It's 6.2 kilometres, 3.8 miles, 23 turns, and it is a street circuit. It's not a racetrack. It's actually a street circuit. I might talk a little bit about it during the race, but essentially these are roads that lead to people's houses. When the big events are on, the 24 hours at Bathurst, that kind of thing, they actually, obviously the roads are closed, you can't drive on them, but there is like a tunnel system for the guys to get in and out of their properties. Sorry about that. I'm trying to stop the screaming from upstairs. Yeah, so there we go. You don't need to know much more than that about Mount Panorama. Yeah, so that's it. So qualifying is about to start very shortly. I do want to bring that up. This is information on the ballast. So, 45 kilos for pro drivers, 45 kilos for Pine GTS, 30 kilos on for Pagani, and Lee Cole carrying 15 kilos of ballast. In the amateur classes, it's Dominic holding. Well, I suppose he could hold it. It's going to be difficult to drive if he does, but he could be holding 30 kilos right there in his hands. So it's actually not the weight that's stopping him. It's the fact he can't change gear because he's got 30 kilos in one of his hands. Joker with 25 kilos and Dusty Fossil carrying 10 kilos. Qualifying is about to begin, so I think let's get cracking and go and have a look at what's occurring in qualifying. Let's get all these. Do you know what, right? I do moan a lot about PD, but I think you would have thought that I have the same settings on this screen every single time, right? It would be nice if they could just leave those settings up every time I jump in, rather than messing around with changing it all up. But anyway, so we'll go. I want to do an on-board lap actually and we'll do it with Pagani because Pagani is out in the lead. We'll do an on-board lap around here. So this is what they call the cutting, brings you into the mountain section here at Bathurst. And I've spent quite a lot of time on this racetrack. I absolutely love it here. Black Flag themselves actually just not so long ago completed a 12 hours at Bathurst race, which I think we finished 5th and 8th out of 16 cars, or 14 cars, sorry. So yeah, not too bad, but hell of a lot of practice around here for that. Then you head down into this, which is the mountain section. It's Reed Park Quarry, Suleiman, McPhillamy Park, and then you've got, and that's well, he's not getting the on board. If you're gonna crash, you don't get the on board, so it goes to Pineapple Head. Then you come round the S's, Skyline, the S's, then the Dipper, brings you down into what they call Forest Elbow and onto Conrod Straight. Your exit out onto Conrod, absolute paramount, because the difference between your speed at the end of this Conrod Straight is so different depending on how well you get out. Now, if you are fuel saving, You're going to turn in here, you're going to lift, coast up to the 100 metre board and slam on them brakes and get it turned in. If you're racing hard, 150 metre board, get those brakes slammed on as you go into the chase and that hotel section. You head down past the pit entrance on your left hand side, and this is Murray's Corner, which takes you to start a fresh lap. And as we're going to do a fresh lap, this is my favourite view of all of them. If I press the right button, that would be useful. That one right there, into Hell Corner. And I'm going to tell you why it's called Hell Corner. It's called Hell Corner because there used to be a massive tree right on that bend, and a lot of people over the years died crashing into that tree, particularly in motorcycle racing. They don't really use open wheel. In fact, I don't think they have any open wheel racing here. It's far too dangerous for any of that palaver. And a lot of the motorbike racing has stopped because predominantly the deaths at Hell Corner. So you head up the mountain straight into Griffin's and round into, now we're into the cutting. You want to get changed down, and for probably second gear is probably best around there. As you head up into Quarry Corner, you want a little lift to get through there, then you power, or you could do what Pineapple Head's doing and use all the walls. A little lift for this left-hander, which is Sulman Park, and it takes you down to McPhillamy Park and then into what's probably the trickiest part of this, which is the S's, and you're kind of feathering down through the gears just to get it slowed down, a little bit of braking along the way before you can get back on the power here as you head down through the dipper. Again on the brakes down into second gear, nice and early, and then you get on that power round Forest Elbow and into Conrod, and this is where you can make or break your lap. Bit of slipstream behind, and let's have a look. Is anyone behind? I don't think there is anyone behind. Not close enough to get any slipstream anyway. But that's what you want. You want to be getting some really good slipstream here. If you're not out in front, you want to be tucked in behind that car in front of you, and you can gain somewhere near 10 or 15 even miles per hour by the time you get to the chase if you're tucked right behind another car. And then of course 3 Murrays, and then we go all over again. This is not a bad representative start time. 59.3 for Pineapple Head. We've got let's go back to this view now. Pagani with a 1.6 seconds quicker with a 57.6. Dominic 2 minutes dead. The Joker 2 minutes dead as well. 6.66, the number of the beast. Absolutely fantastic, love it. I'm hard, Bruce Lee. 201.9 for him. Dusty Fossil chucks himself. Where did he go? Lee Cole drops him down because he has 206 for him. These times are not the sort of times you would expect to see when it comes to full qualifying. At the moment, Pagani with a 57.6. That's a pretty darn good lap. And I think we can be looking somewhere. I think qualifying is going to be. I think it's not out of the realms of possibility to see a 56, a high 56 here. You've got to stay out of the walls, though, man. You've got to stay out of the walls. Let's have a little closer look at these fantastic racing cars. Wrong button. Find the correct button, Belend. That's the one I wanted. So there we go. It is the absolutely fantastic Dodge Viper, of course, and you can see there the lines on this car are just phenomenal. It is a beautiful looking car, just pure unadulterated American power on this motor car. And Pagani, of course, is racing in the pro class, which is why he's got such a quick time on him. But bear in mind, he is carrying ballast. You know, this guy is carrying ballast on board. I can show you actually how much ballast he is carrying. You can see there that Pagani's got 30 kilos of ballast on board, and yet still chucking in very good lap times. Dominic in third, he's carrying 30 kilos also, but they're putting in some very solid times considering they're carrying that extra weight. But the Pineapple Head, lost the ability to speak then. The Pineapple Head is currently on pole with a 1:56.8. I said it'd be a high 56, didn't I? Absolutely bang on. About bloody time and all. It's not often that I get things right, so it is good to be correct. Now we know that they're going to be using 2 tyre compounds in this first 30-minute essentially sprint race, which will set the grid for the main event, 60 minutes here at Bathurst. And I defy anybody to not love a lot of racing here at Bathurst. It's absolutely fabulous. In fact, I love this racetrack so much because, and those of you that know me relatively well know that I am really rubbish at driving. I love sim racing, but I'm rubbish at it. I'm not very quick at all. In fact, I'm arguably the slowest person at Black Flag. I mean, there are some, to be fair, there are some quick guys at Black Flag, but I'm arguably the slowest person in this race team by some distinct margin. But I did manage to get my B ranking around here in the daily races, just because I love it. I know that it's helpful if you know the track well. They are indeed formidable opponents. You're bang on right there, Nightfire. Why are you not racing, buddy? Why are you not getting involved? So yeah, the Pineapple Head looking pretty darn racy at the minute. Can he go sub 56.5? That's the question. Can he go sub 56.5? Has he got that in that Viper? Pagani looking relatively racy as well. We've got to bear in mind that he is carrying that extra weight. It's going to make it just that little bit disadvantage, particularly in the straights. And he's into the pits after those laps. Odd that he's putting new tyres on. To be fair, I mean, there's probably a couple more laps in those tyres, but each to their own. You don't like endurance? I love it, mate. I absolutely love endurance racing. I think I prefer endurance racing to everything else, and that seems to be the direction that that Black Flag are going in, really, as a race team. We're still doing some of the short track stuff, but we're doing a lot of, like, when I say endurance, I mean like the 12, 24 hour ones. We've got 8 hours. We just finished 12 hours at Bathurst a couple of weeks ago with the ERF, and we're about to embark on 8 hours at Watkins Glen. We've just finished our own Staying Power Endurance Internal Endurance series that finished on Saturday, and we've got coming up, actually, we've got Ultimate Endurance, which is a one-off event that we're running. It's a 12-hour racing event over 6 tracks, teams of 2 running 2-hour stints over 6 circuits back to back. So literally you finish on one circuit, your driver comes in, and then the next driver comes out of the pits on the next circuit in the line, and it's back to back for 12 hours. That's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So if anyone's interested, drop me a message. We can get you involved. There are some spaces for some teams. We have just opened it out. Actually, we're opening it out this week to external teams. We've got all the internal entries are done, so there are spaces for anyone externally who wants to come in and get involved in that. That's going to be in probably about 3 weeks' time. We've had to change the dates around, obviously, for other bits and pieces. We've got World Championships and stuff that we're involved in. GT Fusion, for instance. How you doing, Thick Dane, Christian? Yeah, I think it's going to be a good race. I mean, at the moment, we spent a lot of time on these front runners. Let's have a look at some of these guys further down. So Lee Cole, he's going to put in a fresh time. I'm our Bruce Lee. I'll tell you, Lee Cole's got some work to do. 4.8 seconds back from Armad. Dusty Fossil, 3/10 down from one Joker or in 6th. Not anymore, because one Joker's just put himself onto row 2, and that is a sideways lead call. And I'll tell you what, my friend, you cannot park that there. Where's it gone?
You can't park that there, mate.
You can't park that there, mate. No, you can't. Absolutely not. Anyway, Mick Astley, he is just 1/10 behind Dusty Fossil right now. He's never going to give up, though. Never going to give up. No, not today, Ricardo. I'm doing this for these guys here this evening. I did put it in the Discord. My friend did put it in the Discord. I will be restreaming RGR4 race tomorrow because I'm not working. So yeah, I'll do it on a restream tomorrow. Can't be in 2 places at once, of course. Can't be in 2 places at once. So yeah. You'll get that tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon I'll probably do that when my house is empty after I've taken the dog out, probably. So Mick Astley has improved on his time. That's a 59.9, so he has gone sub 2 minutes now. Has everybody else gone sub 2 minutes? Who's yet to go sub 2 minutes? Dusty Fossil still is just outside just outside that the 159s. A couple of tenths here and there, a couple of corners, and he will find his way into those sub 2 minute laps. But there is your pole sitter with a 1:56.8. Currently heading up that front row. He's 8 tenths quicker than anybody else in the Team Spirit Viper. Pagani, he's carrying 30 kilos, remember. He's done a 1:57.6. He's on the front row alongside Pineapple Head. Zomla, it sounds like a alien from a sci-fi thing. That's an interesting line through there for Zomla. Straight on at the chicane. Each to their own, I suppose. Go again is what I say. Do another one. So he's currently sitting on row 2, 57.9 for him. Only 2 tenths between him and Pagani. It's not a lot of time. It's easy enough to find that. Just getting, and there we go. Dusty Fossil does go sub 2 minutes. Told you it was coming. One Joker. He's got a 3-second penalty here on his outlap. So he's not going to say, well, to be fair, it doesn't really matter on your outlap, does it? He's going to get one last shot at improving his position on row 2. Dusty Fossil up onto row 3 with that 59.7. Dominic Kubinski, just 7/100th of a second behind Dusty Fossil. He is 2 tenths up from Mick Astley, 1.9 up from Imard Bruce Lee. Did we just lose someone? No, we didn't. I thought Lee Cole had disconnected. What he actually did was put in a 59.6 and put himself on the 3rd row. So Zomla currently running in 3rd, heading up row 2. He is purple as we head in towards the mountain section, and it's such a contrast of a racetrack, this, because you've got the super straight line speed of the Conrod and the mountain straight, and then the tricky technicality as he. Well, that lap's aborted. The tricky technicality of this kind of twisty back and forth mountain section, which requires all of your wits all of the time. And I'll tell you what, that livery on Zomla's motor, and that is absolutely phenomenal livery. It's a Sneak Energy livery, of course, but that is absolutely phenomenal. I'm a big fan of that. It's really, really smart livery. Yeah, I like it a lot. Picasso. Yeah, nice one. So that lap aborted there for him. No more opportunities to improve on row 2. Good evening, Witchell. How you doing, my friend? The Pineapple Head hasn't improved on his 56.8. That was a phenomenally quick lap. He did that in his 2nd hot lap, and since then, closest he's come is a 57.1. So it just goes to show just how phenomenally quick that Team Spirit driver went for lap number 3, or his second hot lap, or lap 3 in qualifying. He is on another hot lap. Is it purple though? That's the big question. We'll find out there. No, he's 8 tenths down, so he's not going to improve on his time. It's going to be difficult to find 8 tenths from that part of the racetrack. How about Pagani? Has Pagani got... Is he able to find those 8 tenths of a second that he's currently behind Pineapple Head? We'll have a look. He's going to go... We're going to get sector time in a second as he comes through the S's down towards the Forest Elbow. Great shot, this. Great shot through the Forest Elbow onto Conrod. So we'll find out as he goes down Conrod if he has got those 8 tenths he needs under the Audi IR8 sign through that brutal penalty line across the timing, and no, he's 1.7 seconds down. Not going to improve. We know Zomlar's not. He decided that the wall was a much better place for the car than the racetrack. One Joker, he's on a hot lap. Is this hot enough? 1.5 seconds from Zomlar, 2.6 behind the current pole sitter Pineapple Head. What's he got? He got something left in the tank. 59.4, his fastest lap thus far. He's going to find 2 seconds if he wants to get on pole position. But heading down now across the timing line, 1.3 seconds down, not going to improve Lee Cole, he's in the pits. He's resigned himself to 5th. Mick Astley, he seems never going to give up, but he did. He's given up. It's done. We've qualified. Dominic in 8th, and I'm hard Bruce Lee in 9th position. Last but by no means least, of course. They're your 9 runners this evening for this final event here in the GT Invitational at Bathurst. 30 minutes followed by 1 hour of racing. The 30 minutes race will essentially set the grid for your feature this evening. Now, you can see there that absolutely phenomenal pace from Pineapple Head. If we put that back on. Really annoying that the size of the box at the side changes after qualifying. It's unnecessary. It doesn't need to be different size, but for some reason it is. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's have another quick rundown of the tables. So Pagani is currently sitting 2nd on the grid. He is 2nd in the pro classes. Pine GTS is not out there. Lee Cole, he is down in 6th. He's currently 3rd in the pro classes. In the amateur classes, there we go. Dominic, top of that table, 462. But we're going to find out where everyone is in terms of race pace right now as we move into the race for this first 30 minutes. So I mean about this bloody stuff turning off. It's just ridiculous. We're going to go on board with Mick Astley when we start. It's a rolling start anyway. So no danger into turn 1. Don't like rolling starts, man. It's really, really bad. Obviously, the further back you are, the harder it is because, yeah. Anyway, off we go, and we are racing into turn 1. Goes Pineapple Head. He's going to get there first. He's going to have a bit of a gas. He's not going to be challenged initially, but Pagani's going to want to get tucked in right behind him on the way up the mountain straight for this first lap here. 30 minutes of racing. We're looking about 15 laps. There or thereabouts, depending on course on the length of the pit stop. I think we can safely say these front runners are going to be doing 15 laps. I think those towards the back of the grid, Mick Astley, Dominic, who are there at the moment, they may make it further forward. I think they're going to be doing probably 14. We'll see though in terms of pace. So the Pineapple Head leads us through into the mountain section for the first time, and will. It's already pulling out 1.3 second lead over Pagani. Wrong button. There you go. That's the one I wanted. Who is he already seems to be dropping back off Pineapple Head. That weight's obviously going to be playing a part in how he controls that car, because the cars around him are lighter. They're going to be more nimble. They're going to be less intensive on the tyres, less intensive on the fuel. So he is going to have to find that little extra something to keep his car ahead of these guys. 1.3 seconds is enough there. Zomler is under significant pressure from Dusty Fossil already. Take a look at this. He's tucked right in that slipstream, which is exactly where you want to be. You can see here as they're heading down the Conrod for the first time up to the chase. He wasn't quite close enough to get that move done, but into the chase they go, and stays in 4th place. But certainly some racing to be had there. 1.3 seconds back to Lee Cole in 5th position. He's 1.6 behind Dusty Fossil. 2.2 back to One Joker. One Joker or 6 Joker. He's number 6. 1.9 seconds to Mick Astley, and he's 7/10 ahead of Dominic. And I'm Ard Bruce Lee. Chicka chicka ching. There he is. He's in 9th place. Already 1.8 seconds back. 12 seconds already off the leader, Pineapple Head, with a 2:01.333 on that first lap. Well, I mean, the most weight or not, he doesn't really look like he's got the heaviest car. He is absolutely chucking this around like it weighs half the amount of every other car out there. Him and Pagani both carrying weight, but it just seems to be And I'm not suggesting they're fat. They may well be, I don't care. But they're chucking it around this mountain section like the car weighs half the amount of any other car out there. 2.2 seconds is the current lead. I don't want to have a quick look. There's your tyre and fuel data. Fuel data obviously not going to be so important at this stage. But you can see soft tyres for Pineapple Head, Pagani on the soft, Zomlar on the soft, Lee Colstar on the soft, Dusty Fossil on the soft. Joker, one Joker has started on the hard compound tyre. That's interesting because if he can hang on in there, and at the moment under significant pressure from Dominic on those softs, can Dominic make the move here down Conrad? You've got to bear in mind that under braking he's going to have so much more traction coming through the chase, and you can see there he was tucked right in behind down Conrad, not quite close enough, but under braking, can he get his move done? Very, very good defending there from one Joker, but he's going to struggle to keep Dominic at bay. Dominic breezing past him to take that lead early on here. This is lap 2, and we can see just how close he is coming up towards the chase, and he goes for that old switcheroo, and one Joker does a great job defending the inside line, but the additional traction that Dominic's got in those soft compound tyres just allows him to breeze on through. And oh my days, he might have breezed on through, but he's just spun his car, and it doesn't matter how quick you are in the overtake. Look at that, he's gone full John Deere, full farming simulator GT7 version, and he is ploughing those fields way down the order now. So Dominic got significant work to do now after scrubbing quite a lot off those tyres. He's 7.7 seconds back. So Mick Astley moves up one place to 8th position. I'm hard Bruce Lee is up into 7th place, and he's got Mick Astley all over the back of him like an unwelcome itch. Can he shake him off? Bear in mind that Mick Astley is on those hard compound tyres. I'm hard Bruce Lee on those soft compounds, so he should have the traction through the corners to be able to pull away from Mick Astley at this stage. But look at that, round the outside, no right, absolutely no right to be making an overtake there, but got that move done like an absolute boss. I mean, you can see here, if we go on board, you can see here that I'm hard Bruce Lee just gets it all kinds of wrong, but leaves the door open, and thank you very much. Bish bash bosh, says Mick Astley, and he is through, absolutely through, up into 7th. Now, can he hold him off? Because bear in mind that Mick Astley's on those hard compound tyres, and he can't, because straight away I'm hard Bruce Lee comes straight back at him. Now the interesting thing here is that if you're starting on the hard compound tyres, when you do finally pit and put on the softs, those hard runners, those soft runners around you are now going to be in a position you're in now. They're going to be on the hard compound tyres, they're going to be on cold hard when they first come out, and they're going to find it very hard to keep you at bay. So the key thing here, when you are like that one Joker, he's running on those hard compound tyres, the key thing here is to stay in contention. 6.6 behind Dusty Fossil of course on the soft compound tyre, Lee Cole's on the soft, Zomlar on the soft, so basically all the front 5 all running on soft compound tyres. So those guys at the back, like one Joker, like Mick Astley, those two, come the pit window, you're going to see a very, very different side to these guys, and they're going to be quicker. They're going to be a lot snappier out of the corners. They're going to be a lot quicker round the corners because they're going to have that extra grip, which is really going to help them. There's your race leader, and he's made a mistake somewhere because that gap was 3 odd seconds. You can see here, he clips the wall there. Does he clip the wall again? He's clearly, I mean, this is where Bathurst is brutal, absolutely brutal, because the mountain section can absolutely murder you without any warning at all. And you can see there he's lost so much time. He was over 3 seconds clear, but just those little knocks have cut him down to 1.4 seconds. Pagani can see his prey and is trying to hunt him down now. 2.8 seconds, Pagani is clear now of Zomlar, who rounds out the top 3. 4.7 seconds back to Lee Cole, running in 4th. That's the best livery of the day. That fucking awesome livery. Awesome. Lee Cole, he is on the soft compound tyre. Yeah, do you know what? I think you're right there, Jimbo. Is that if you're super quick, it doesn't matter which way around you do it. If you're super quick, you're going to disappear off up the road. And whether you start on the harder compound or the softer compound at the beginning, I don't think it makes that much difference. When you, like me, and I'm not suggesting that he's as slow as I am, Joker. I'm incredibly slow. I find for me, it's better to get the rubbish tyre out of the way first, because then you've got an idea of where you are on the racetrack. If you have a bit of a purple patch on the softs and you're slow, and then you end up on slower tyres, it can only get worse from that point. Whereas if you go the other way around, it can only get better. Especially if you have a good first stint, especially on the hard tyres as well. So Pagani now has really closed up that gap, and we see the Pineapple getting very squirrely out of the Forest Elbow, and side by side they breeze down the Conrod, and the weight here on both cars going to play a part. And neither wanted to jump in behind the other for the slipstream. They just wanted to drag race it down to the line. Pagani in the end has to dive in behind Pineapple Head and wait for another opportunity. Now, if you are currently watching and enjoying what you're seeing, click that like button just so YouTube knows that you like me. You like me a lot. It really helps with the algorithm, to be fair, and it means that more people get to see this content. The more people like it, the more YouTube share. I was going to say Facebook then, but it's not Facebook, is it? There is the race leader, the Pineapple Head, and he has managed to shake off Pagani after they came side by side down Conrod. But just put in the fastest first sector of the race with a 1:17. He's already ramping up the pace, but Pagani's not letting him go. Absolutely sticking with him for the duration. Don't count Zomlar out, because Zomlar is kind of sitting in there. He's going to really benefit if Pagani and Pineapple Head spend too much time battling. Then this could really benefit Zomlar, because he can race his own race. He hasn't got to concern himself with defending or attacking another car, because he's in a bit of clear air at the moment. He's got 2 seconds clear. That's Pagani and Pineapple Head up the road. He's got Lee Cole 5.7 seconds behind him. So his focus now is just getting those solid laps in place. 57.9 is his quickest, which is 7/10 off of Pagani's fastest lap. But he can only benefit from Pineapple Head and Pagani battling it out ahead of him. And you can see there that Pineapple Head is just giving himself a little bit of a breather, and managed. He hasn't dropped him completely out of his slipstream, but given himself enough of a gap to not have to keep staring in his mirrors. Down the order, that's Lee Cole. He is 5.2 behind Zomlar. He's got his own little part of the racetrack all for him. You can hardly see, you probably can see Zomlar up in the distance when they're on Conrod, but for the most part, he can't see anyone ahead of him, because that car is 5.1 seconds up the road. He's got Dusty Fossil 6.6, is keeping him at bay, and that's exactly how he will like it. And he can really relax at the moment. And actually, that gap to Zomlar, Zomlar's made a mistake, because that gap has come right down. Where did Zomlar make the error? Ah, there we go. So he has, instead of turning left at the bottom of the hill, he's decided to go and make some sandcastles and make a whole new line through the racetrack. He's lost significant time there. Clearly lost it coming out of the chase. Now, this is one of those tracks, this is Laguna Seca, one of those tracks where you can actually spin yourself into the pits if you don't get it quite right coming out of the of that chase section. You can do the same on the I can't remember the name of the turn down in the tail of the Laguna Seca. But I've seen people do it on both these racetracks. spin themselves into the pits. Now Zomlar was in a really good position chasing down Pineapple Head and Pagani. Now after that mistake, his concern isn't to just get his laps done and hope for the shenanigans out front to give him some opportunity. He's now got to really worry about giving up some pace to Lee Cole. Lee Cole now tucked firmly in that slipstream, and they're going to head into Conrod soon. And if he's close enough, he very well might be in a position to make a move. Didn't get quite the exit he would have liked. Zomlar with a slightly better exit out of Forest Elbow, but he will get a little bit of toe, which you'll start to see having an effect about now. A little bit too late, but certainly a lot closer. Now Lee Cole now has a target to aim at, so it's not an empty bit of road that he's looking at anymore. It's the back of that Sneak Energy car. This is a lap 7. Yellow flags ahead for who? Zomlar into the pits. Was that what Zomlar was trying to do last time? Was he trying to go into the pits and absolutely got it horribly wrong? That's that certainly looked like what happened from my perspective. Who knows? So the Pineapple Head on those soft compound tyres is going to have to come in about now. This is firmly bang in that pit window. Just seeing your comment, which you're absolutely spot on right. Endurance racing is much better than sprint, and but proper long endurance racing, 2, 3, 4 hour endurance racing. Lot of it. Been involved in a lot of it lately. A couple of weeks back, actually, I did a 24-hour broadcast for the BCGT lads who were raising money for Young Lives versus Cancer. And when I say 24 hours, I don't mean it was a race that emulated 24 hours. I mean it was actually 24 hours. We started at 8 p.m. on a Friday evening, and I finally signed off at 8 p.m. the following Saturday. And some of those drivers put in, I think one driver put in a 14-hour shift. I think another one did 16 hours, but in 2 stints. It was absolutely insane. That's proper endurance racing. Love it a lot. Right, let's have a look at the back of the pack. Dominic 4.3. That 3-second penalty line, I think it's brutal, actually. Absolutely brutal. And it looks like Dominic has picked that up coming out of the pits. It is so broad. I mean, there's a few of these racetracks here where actually it's hard to avoid it because the AI gives you control back, pointing in the wrong direction, and you kind of have to have your wits about you to prevent picking it up more than make a mistake to pick it up. But he is 4.5 seconds behind one Joker. He's also pit. He's 8.3 behind Mick Astley. Now on those. He hasn't pit yet. He's on the hard compound tyres still, so it has to pit. I'm hard Bruce Lee. He's up to 6. He still needs to go in. He is just 1 second behind Zomlar, who comes out in 5th place. Behind Dusty Fossil, Pagani into the pits. Out he comes. He should come out ahead of Zomlar, because Zomlar only just coming into Murray's now and heading down, so Pagani will come back out in 4th place. He's 2.6 behind Dusty Fossil, who need to pit still. Lee Cole, he stayed out. He's going to, I imagine, one more lap before he puts on those hard compound tyres, as Mick Astley into the pits here, lap 9. Pineapple Head still in the lead. State of these tyres, look at these. Look at the state of them. He's got to come in at the end of this lap, or he could find himself getting very, very wall-shaped when he puts it into a wall somewhere. Anyway, those of you that have joined us expecting to see some GR4 action from Black Flag, no, not here tonight. They are racing. We will rebroadcast that tomorrow at some stage. We are here with our GTI Invitational Racing League. It is the Season 2 finale here at Bathurst, and you're watching the Pineapple Head leading by 11.8 seconds. Don't let that deceive you. He does still have to go in the pits, although pretty much everyone around him, Lee Cole, who's 11.7 back, does have to pit. He was further down the order, as was Dusty Fossil, who's there in 3rd at the moment. Now, he could actually stay out. He hasn't put quite so much stress through the tyres as Pineapple. Now, you've got to bear in mind the extra weight will have had an effect on how quickly he wears those tyres down. But in he comes. I'm pretty sure I was pretty sure we'd see Lee Cole come in. He's going to do another lap, and I can't see Dusty Fossil coming in just yet. He's got plenty of grip left in those soft compound tyres. He can go a little while longer. Remember, there's two distinct races out there. Well, there's one big overall race. Of course, there's 9 people all racing each other. You've got the pro classes racing each other. You've got the amateur classes racing each other. They've got their own separate tournament. Plus, we've got the team competition as well. So, four titles up for grabs. You can't win all 4, of course. You can win 3 of the 4, but you certainly can't win all 4. But from what I understand, every single one of them is still open for grabbing. So your race leader currently, Lee Cole, still need to pit. Dusty Fossil also still needs to pit. Pineapple Head comes out in 3rd, just 1.5 behind Dusty. Didn't need to put on any fuel, of course. It was just purely the mandatory tyre change onto those hard compound runners. 2.4 is the gap back to Pagani. It's been Pagani following Pineapple the whole time so far. And we're here on lap 10, about 5 laps remaining here at Bathurst. We did have a little opportunity for Pagani to make the move. He was side by side with Pineapple Head going into the chase. Didn't make that move stick, and has just now got to try and close back on him. Now, here's the thing. So you've got Dusty Fossil. Yes, he's still got a pit, and yes, he will drop behind these front runners. But at the moment, he has track position. So, although the Pineapple Head will be hoping to get past him as quickly and as efficiently as possible, he's got an amateur driver there ahead of him. I'm not suggesting Dusty Fossil's rubbish, although he is. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Of course, I'm joking. So it's going to be how quickly, number one, does Pineapple Head come up behind Dusty Fossil? But also, how long does he get held up behind him? Because if he gets held up behind him, for instance, through the mountain section, that's going to allow Pagani, I was going to say it was going to allow him to catch up, but Pagani has had a problem. Can we find where he had that problem? Because he comes through there, he's very, very close. That's too far away. Don't know what's going on there. That's a very, very old replay. I don't know how I did that, but I'm going to have to work out how I did that. He is 7.3 seconds now behind Pineapple Head. So he's had a little brush with death at some stage. Zomlar was running 3rd, currently running 5th. Although, of course, once Lee Cole and Dusty Fossil go in, we should see that change. I'm hard Bruce Lee. Out he comes to do the last few laps of this race on those hard compound tyres. Now, Mick Astley, he's now on those softs, so we should expect to see him putting some pressure on Dominic, who is currently running in 8th. Dominic on those hard compound tyres. He's going to struggle, and you can see there straight away Mick Astley using that superior grip to absolutely melt him at the top of the mountain straight. Made it look incredibly easy. You can see with the slipstream getting closer, can brake so much later, can take that so much tighter, and makes that move and absolutely makes it stick heading into the mountain section. And Dominic needs to try and stick with him. If he can't stick with him for the mountain, he can find himself getting dropped adrift. Particularly now he's on those hard compound tyres. Lee Cole into the pits from the lead of this race. Dusty Fossil is going again. He's not going in yet. And the back end of that Viper just stepping out for Dominic. Dominic Toretto. He's not. Because if he was Dominic Toretto, he'd basically make 10 really bad movies just by shouting, "Family!" and then driving a car really fast. Because that's essentially what he does. Yeah, no, he's making so Vin Diesel has essentially made an entire career out of saying "family" or "I am Groot." Not too taxing a job for the bald muscle man. Not that I've got a problem with Vin Diesel at all, just an observation. So Mick Astley starting to open up that gap, 1.4 seconds, having made that overtake on lap earlier in lap 10. He is going to be under pressure, maybe, if he makes a mistake. So that's what he's got to make sure, that he doesn't make that mistake. Bruce Lee is 3.3 seconds up the road. He's on the hard compound tyres. That's a potential target now for Mick Astley, because his last lap actually was I think it was an out. To be fair, I think it's an out lap, so we won't look too much into it. But you can see there, Mick Astley, if we look on board from Mick's point of view, that's his target there, not too far away. And I think we will see a battle raging between these two in the not too distant future. Now, Lee Cole came out of the pits ahead of Pagani. Pagani, you can see, he had a big problem on lap 10. He crashed that car in the chase down of Pineapple Head, and that's cost him not only an opportunity to make a challenge onto Pineapple Head, but also cost him second place to Lee Cole. That is a phenomenal performance from Lee Cole to come out there in second. He's 4.5 behind Pineapple Head. Well, I think it's going to be a difficult man to beat today. I think he's just going to be he just seems to have that edge over everybody else, despite the additional weight he's carrying in that Viper. Dusty Fossil, who was behind Lee Cole in second during the pit, before the pit, the pit window, for want of a better expression, he comes out in fifth. Now he's on those hard compound tyres. He's 10.8 seconds behind Zomlar. Lord of the Flies. I don't know. Lord of the Underworld. Sounds like Zomlar sounds like a baddie from Big Trouble in Little China or the Goonies. Or something equally weird. Or Squid Game. Beat Zomlar. One Joker. He is 2.2 seconds behind Dusty Fossil. He's on the soft compound tyres, so watch out for that. He's not going to get caught by I'm Our Bruce Lee. I'm Our Bruce Lee is already falling into the clutches of Mick Astley. I told you this was coming. Absolutely, here it is. And there's the move. We can see it. He's going to make this. He needs to tuck in. That's it. You get tucked under that wing. Use that slipstream to pull him up the mountain straight. He's going to make the move before he even gets into this right-hander at the top, like he did when he took Dominic Kubinski. Into the braking zone they go. He's going to hold on. I don't quite know what needs to be camouflaged pink that you can't see it. It's not really camouflage, unless, of course, you are hiding in a big bag of teddies. But there we go. Anyway, Mick Astley up into 7th place, makes very, very light work of that. And there we have it. 22 seconds up the road is One Joker, who is now putting the pressure on the back of Dusty Fossil, coming through the tricky mountain section out onto Conrad. He's tucked right in behind. I think this move's going to get done, and this move's going to get done very, very soon. Look at the difference in speed. The exit speed just made all the difference there. And you can see there, look, Dusty Fossil just, even tucking in the slipstream, just disappearing off down the road. How very dare you indeed. So the Pineapple Head is going to be the winner, I think. It would be a monumental cock-up to miss it from this point of the race, I think. When you're 6.9 seconds clear, you've got essentially probably two laps remaining. So this lap and one more lap. So 2 laps. Learn to count it. Well, it's not counting, is it? Oh! Nearly, very, very nearly gave us a show. I said it would take a monumental cock-up, and he very nearly saw one. But got the car back under control, and off he continues up the road. 6.4 seconds clear of Lee Cole. Now, Pagani drops even further back. He's now back behind Zomlar. So Zomlar is somewhere on those soft compound tyres. The soft compound tyres, been able to find a little bit of pace behind Pagani and get that move done. Pagani, of course, on those hard compounds. Now, it's going to be very the back end of that car, so twitchy. So here's the problem now, because he is 1.8 seconds behind Zomlar. Zomlar is chasing down Lee Cole. Is he going to get this move done? Side by side, they head down Conrod. And Lee Cole just seems... It's almost like it is like that scene from Fast and Furious right at the beginning when the cars side by side just edging. And Zomlar! Massive fuck up in the braking zone. Apologise for my French, that absolutely shouldn't have come out when it did. But you see here, he gets into the braking zone. And you watch here, as he turns in, I don't quite know how he got this quite so wrong. It's almost like he touched the brakes and had a little bit too much steering on board, and it sent him flying into the gravel. And you can't park that there, son. That's cost him loads and loads. He's coming into the pit. I don't quite know why he's coming into the pits, because it doesn't look like he's got any damage on board. So in he comes. You know what? I think he needs to run the hard. I don't think he's run the hard compound tyres yet. I think that was the problem, is he needs to run the hards. So Zomlar losing so much position there. Yeah, well, is what it is. 7.7 seconds is the gap between Pineapple and Lee Cole. Lee Cole lives to fight another day. His biggest threat now is in the form of Pagani, but being that this is the last lap, 1.3 seconds is a lot to ask of Pagani to make up on this last lap. He's kind of relying at the moment on Lee Cole to make some sort of error as we head into the mountain section at the top of the hill here at Bathurst. I do want to. I did say I'll talk about the houses around here. We'll probably do it during the. In fact, we will. We'll do it during the 60-minute endurance race. This, of course, will set the grid for that race. The pineapple head completely. I haven't had a stroke. Just lost the ability to speak for a minute. The pineapple head will be on pole, joined on the front row by Lee Cole, unless, of course, Pagani can get a move done in these last few corners. Not close enough here on Conrod to make a move. Heading into the chase, even under the heaviest of braking and being the last of the late breakers, it's going to be a difficult task now. Lee Cole just needs to keep his head as they head down into Murray for the last time in this 15-lap race here at Bathurst. Into the final corner they go. Lee Cole is going to take second position. Didn't watch the lead across the line actually, but there we go. That's because we had a battle on. Pagani comes home in third. One joker. 13.8 seconds back, but comfortably 8 seconds clear of Dusty Fossil to take fourth place. Across the line he will go. Dusty Fossil. And aren't they all dusty? They've been underground for a long time. Zomlar. It all went horribly wrong for Zomlar. He is now running those hard compound tyres which he needed to do. Anyway, so he probably would have lost that time equally. So across the line he'll come in sixth, just ahead of Mick Astley. He never gave up, and he never let us down. Never gonna get tired of that. Never gonna get tired of it at all. I'm our Bruce Lee. He comes home in eighth, and Dominic Kubinski, last but by no means least, will cross the line in a ninth position. Boomshanker. But there you go, there's your winner, and all the accolades go to the Pineapple Head. Big round of applause to him. Congratulations. There we go. Done. That wasn't bad, was it? That was alright. Full classified rundown, here we go. Daily 2 car, they're in, all in the Viper SRT GT3 2015. The Pineapple Head won the race, not fastest lap though, fastest lap went to Pagani. Lee Cole came home in second, Pagani came home in third, one joker in fourth, Dusty Fossil was fifth, Zomlar in sixth, Mick Astley in seventh, I'm Bruce Lee, I'm Ard Bruce Lee, came home in eighth, and ninth was Dominic Kubinski. There you go, that's your full classified rundown. Right, that will set the grid, of course, for the next event, which is 60 minutes of racing. looking forward to this. While we're waiting for the next race, let's talk a little bit about this. This is what's coming up, season number 3. So keep an eye on the Instagram for details of that. Turn the music down a bit loud. It's a bit loud. I'll be back with you very, very shortly.
Come in here with your hot, squeezy backs and tease me.
Oh, that stench. Oh, how it lingers. I never said that you were the best damn thing on your bed. Now what you paying for a night? I never said that you were the best that I ever had. Now we're praying for an I won't let you in again. And I'm not the one who pushed away. It was you, it was you, it was so easy.
I have returned. I did actually return a minute ago, but I was eating a string cheese because I'm hungry. You hear my chair squeaking? Interesting story about my chair, right? My chair broke ages and ages and ages ago, and they sent me a part for it, and I couldn't fit the bloody part, and it's still sitting folded up in a corner. So I'm on like a rickety old dining chair at the moment, which I intend to solve shortly. Not sure when, but at some stage. So the grid looks to have been set, and I'm sure we're going to be getting cracking very soon. 60 of your finest minutes, please. Grid has finished from race number 1. It's just so there, right there. 2 minutes is the warning. Excuse me, sorry. I just downed some Pepsi. Other soft drinks are available, of course, until they pay me, and then no other soft drinks are ever available. Talking to soft drinks, actually, I'm going to put this out live, right? So my son, as you may or may not know, is a top-end Rocket League player, plays for his university in international tournament stuff. Anyway, when he was in the qualifiers for the World Championship, there was a competition running for the people watching on Twitch, and you commented something and you win a year's supply of Monster. Anyway, I was watching it, and then I won that year's supply of Monster, allegedly. Got contacted on Discord about, now we're talking probably about 2 months ago now. I digress. They didn't qualify. They came third and didn't qualify for the Worlds. But anyway, so I got contacted. I think the following Saturday, so a week later, by somebody from the event organisers and said, what's your address? We'll get your monster out to you. And nothing happened. I am going to drop them a message actually and just say, look, where the hell is it? Because I want to know what a year's supply of monster looks like. Is a year's supply of monster 1 can a day, 2 cans a day, 10 cans a day? I suppose there are people out there who drink 10 cans. I don't know, I wouldn't even drink 1 can a day, but I just want to have it because it's a thing. I'll probably take it to the shop up the road and flog it to the dodgy get up there for like 50p a can or something. But you know, it's what it is. It's not going to buy me a Fanatec, I'll tell you that. But yeah. So if anyone from Monster is listening, where's my bloody monster drop? Anyway, moving swiftly on. So the grid is set from race number 1. So you'll have Pineapple Head and Lee Cole on front row, Pagani and Joker row 2, Dusty Fossil and Zomlar on row 3, Mick Astley, never going to give up, he's got Omar Bruce Lee behind him on row 4, Dominic Kubinski on row 5, and I'm flashing there, but of course I'm not racing. Would it be funny if I just like ticked in and what? I'd say beat them all, but they won't happen. I would come properly last. All 3 tyres are available. They must use the hard compound tyre. Yeah, Jokey will have to let me know what constitutes a year's supply. To be fair though, Monster's idea of a year's supply and someone who drinks it all the time's idea of a year's supply probably are 2 different things. Who knows? But yeah, I'm going to message the guy back on Discord later. Actually, I'm glad I've kind of been reminded of it. So I'm going to message him on Discord later and say, oi, where's my monster stuff? And then if I don't hear nothing, I'm going to start abusing them on social media because I can. That's it, really. What else can I say? So, I haven't got a real live update of scores or anything to give you, so you can guess, or you can do the math in your head, whatever you want to do. But I can tell you it's going to be a good little battle out there in front between... well, I say it's going to be a good little battle, but looking at how Pineapple was... probably a truckload, yeah. Well, if he wants to purchase it, when I do finally get it, if he wants to purchase it off me in bulk, I'm sure we can arrange that. Anyway, let's get cracking with some racing, shall we? No one wants to hear me talking about my lack of monster. There we go. That's the correct button. Come on, PD, leave this stuff on for me, man. Leave it on. Actually, I want to turn these off now because it looks so much better like that, doesn't it? But... So here we go. Race number 2. Again, rolling start into Murray's and off we go. Pineapple Head from Lee Cole, Pagani from One Joker, Dusty Fossil from Zomlar, Mick Astley from I'm Bruce Lee, and Dominic Kubinski bringing up the rear because he likes it there, apparently. Oh! And I'll tell you where he nearly liked it. He nearly liked it in the wall. Got very, very brave on that loud pedal from the start and very nearly lost the back end of that car before he'd even started the lap. But we are away. There's a very real chance he might fall asleep behind the wheel. How incredibly funny would that be? And look at that. Lee Cole has set his stall out early, making an early challenge on Pineapple Head. Shall we have a look at the tyre situ? There's the tyre sitch. Pineapple Head started on the softs. Lee Cole also on the soft compound tyres. Listen, mate, I'm on the verge of becoming a grandfather, so listen to the geriatric. Thank you very much, Christian. I might sound like a young, svelty, beautiful young man, but I'm not. I'm old and wrinkly. Lee Cole is also on the softs. Hard for Pagani. I think starting on hard actually is not a bad shout. Get those horrible hard tyres out of the way early doors. Make some use of the mediums, I think. Zomlar is in 4th. One Joker behind him in 5th. 1.4 seconds already, that gap. He's on the hard compound tyres. Also Zomlar on those softs. Dusty Fossil on the hard compound tyres, tucked in nicely behind One Joker as they come out onto Comrade. Is this a nice early overtake for Dusty Fossil? Did he get a good enough exit? It looks to me that Joker just got the better exit there from the Forest elbow. Grampy always needs a bit of a nap, to be fair. To be fair, right, so talking of naps, I've never really been one for naps, but the idea of having one now really sounds quite awesome. You know, it gets about like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I think I could go for a little snooze now. I'm sure that's an age thing. Must be. Mick Astley in 7th, Dominic in 8th. Amar Bruce Lee has dropped down to 9th position. Now, interesting. Both Pagani and One Joker are doing the old one laparoonie, as I like to call it, where you have your mandatory tyre and you put it on, do your one lap, sacrifice some track position, but stick it in the bin. So we won't see these guys on hard compound tyres again. If they hate them that much, they're never going to use them again. Not ever, not ever, ever, ever. I tell you what, Greta Thunberg would be turning in her grave if she was dead. Instead, she's just going to be shouting and screaming. I do. She'll be shouting and screaming something like this.
How dare you!
Wasting tyres.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
Shut up, Greta. More petrol, please. More petrol. Talking of petrol, Pineapple Head, there he is, leading this race from Lee Cole. But not going all his own way, not quite as comfortable as he found it in the first race. This is a very, very different scenario here, because Lee Cole, he might be cool, but Lee Cole is right tucked in behind Pineapple in that slipstream, and he's getting a really good run. And you can see Pineapple just trying to weave, not give anything up if he can help it. I could feel a coughing fit coming on in a minute. I'll try and avoid that if I can. Into the braking zone they go. Lee Cole can't get the move done. Excuse me. I told you it was coming. Hang on. Hold the line, corner. Talk amongst yourselves. Thank you very much. So there we go. So Pineapple Head not only holds on, but Lee Cole doesn't come through there unscathed. You can see there just how he loses all that time. Coming down to the final corner, he lost some time coming actually through the chase as well. So yeah, some time lost there for Lee Cole, and already Pineapple gets to breathe a sigh of relief. And that's the thing. I mean, this is what separates the guys that win races and win championships from guys like me who don't win jack. It's consistency. It's being able to put in, like he's just done there, a 59.8, and then do that for another 30 laps, lap after lap after lap, and not really falter from that path. The less errors you have, the better it seems to be. And I see it so much, particularly when I look at the stuff I do with GT Fusion and GT Champions, especially with the sort of the pro end of it as well with these championship groups, is that the guys that you see regularly on the podiums are not necessarily the guys that put in the fastest laps. They're the guys that put in fast laps that are consistent. And I think, for me, that's one thing that I'm trying to improve on in my sim racing game. Is look, everyone's got their pace, everyone's got their level, and everyone wants to be faster. And I certainly think I'm faster now than I was a year ago, and so on and so forth. But my problem has always been consistency. And when I can put in a good solid fast time, is continuing to do that. So that's something that I'm working on at the moment, and it is paying off. I've made it to the dizzy heights of B. I'm going to be brutally honest. Since I made it to B, I haven't raced since. I don't want to risk losing it on a track I'm not so familiar with. I'm holding out on the dailies for a favourable combination, because I quite like being a B-rated driver, despite the fact I'm not actually B. I'm probably C at best. But anyway, it's one of those things. I digress. Let's have a little look and see what's occurring. So the Pineapple Head leads 2 seconds from Lee Cole. 12 seconds back to Zomla already. These guys absolutely disappearing off into the distance from Zomla. 12.1 seconds back. Two very distinct races going on. It's Pineapple Head and Lee Cole having one little race, and it's everybody else having another. Now, we do have a number of guys that did pit and get rid of the hard compound tyres really early on. which is gonna set them in good stead later on, because they don't have to run it. In race number 1, you had to use softs and you had to use hards. This time you only have to use hards. I think we're going to see a combination of the soft and mediums in this 60-minute race, because I don't think you're going to get much past sort of 8 laps. Really, I think 8 laps is probably a limit. 7 to 8 laps on the soft compound tyres, assuming, of course, the wear settings are the same, which I think they are. I should have checked that, really. That would involve some level of professionalism, of course. And as Jim Boy points out, naps at 2 o'clock in the afternoon are awesome, and I haven't had one of those today. Look, to be honest, I'll talk about that like I do. I don't really have the opportunity to do it much in my line of work anyway. Yeah, apparently, but I'm not. I was going to make a joke about being a bus driver and having naps during the day, but I'm not actually a bus driver. I haven't got the patience for that kind of thing. I would absolutely have killed a school child or an old lady by now by kicking them down the stairs, because they're annoying. More so school children than old ladies. Anyway, the Pineapple Head is now 3.9 seconds clear of Lee Cole. Lee Cole running in second on soft compounds. Zomla on the soft, 12.5 seconds back in that Sneak Energy car, which is looking awesome. Pagani, named, of course, after the very, very famous Zonda. No, he's not. The car's not named after him either. It's, in fact, he probably named himself after the car. Possibly. Could actually be his name, I suppose. His name could be Paul Agani. 4 seconds back to Mickey Mick. I'll tell you what, if I do any more, if you guys are pissed off at me by the end of this, and I'll do any more races for you guys, I might have a little sings on for him. I'm hard Bruce Lee. No, you're not. 9.8 seconds back from Mick Astley. So people start to find their little niche on the racetrack. You're going to see, because it's a 60-minute race, there's plenty of racing to be done. And you're going to see gaps opening up where strategies are different and the such like. And you'll see towards the end of the race those cars coming back together. But one Joker is right tucked in there behind I'm Hard. Into this mountain section they come now. It's really tricky. We did see an overtake in race number 1. We saw an overtake through this mountain section, but it's incredibly difficult to do it. And that's what, chucking one up the inside round here it's suicidal and it's mental in equal measures. The only time really you're going to get an overtake done through here is if the car ahead of you is making a mistake. But this is where one Joker, what you need to do is just stay where he is. You can see here, tucked in nicely behind, we're in chase cam right now, of course, flying my little drone behind the cars, we're expert skill. The great exit out here is what is key, and this is where you get on that power. Use all that road, be careful not to clip the wall on the exit. He did get a very, very good exit, one Joker. Get tucked in behind that yellow Bruce Lee car. Can he close up on him now and make that move? Now, do you want to, you've got 2 choices here. Do you save some fuel? Or do you just go for it? For me, I think this early on in the race, bearing in mind just how beneficial it is to have more fuel on board when you go into the pit stop. If I'm no tactical genius, of course. If I'm in one Joker's position, which is almost in the wall, I stay in behind there, allow Bruce Lee to give some slipstream, lift and coast into particularly the top of the hill here and into chase, and just save that little bit of fuel, because even at 10 litres a second, and I'm not quite sure what the refill rate is, I suppose I could look it up, couldn't I? The amount of time you're saving being in the pits just makes so much of a difference, or not being in the pits, should I say, makes so much of a difference. I'm gonna have a look and see actually what it's here somewhere. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna hold the line caller while I find the lobby settings. Here we go. So refueling is 8 litres a second. So it's relatively high in the scheme of things, but for every 8 litres you don't use, that's 1 second of time you save in the pits. And over the course of a 60-minute race, that could add up to 2 or 3 seconds of time in the pits. You absolutely want to try and maximise track time and reduce pit time. And the best way to do that is a combination of course you want to be quick and you want to be putting those fast laps in, but looking after fuel and lifting and coasting. And there we see a massive mistake by Ahmad Bruce Lee, straight into the wall, and we can see just how he got this very, very, very many shades of wrong. Into the Forest Elbow he goes. He gets on the brakes nice, he gets it turned in, but just gets a little bit too brave with the loud pedal. And you can see there, right ahead of him, you can see where that juts out as you come round. It's absolutely brutal clipping the wall there. And getting yourself straightened up, costing so much time. Not going to be happy with that in the slightest. Just a little bit too brave on the power. And see, this is now this is where you need to get your focus. You've made the mistake. You need to kind of shrug it off and not make any more silly errors. This is the time. Actually, this is the time when you tend to make more mistakes because you're angry at yourself for making that error. You start to push a little bit too hard, and of course now you've dropped yourself into the clutches of another car, and they're both almost sideways coming through Hell Corner. And here is Dominic now trying to make that move on Bruce Lee just to compound his misery after that mistake in the Forest Elbow. And yeah, that mistake has been doubled and compounded as Dominic makes the overtake and gets through. The gap to One Joker. Now, One Joker in a lovely bit of free air now. He is 11 seconds up the road, and it's just him. There is no one else. It's almost like a leisurely drive through the countryside for him now, because he's 11 seconds clear of Dominic. He's 10 seconds behind Mick Astley. Now there's a yellow flag, and that's Zomlar. Zomlar has made a mistake. What can we see? What happened to Zomlar? He is sideways, and that, look at that, it's so hard to get your car out of there, particularly because these cars are so big. So there we go, and there we can see there just how much time it's cost him. That is brutal, absolutely brutal for him, because the very well camouflaged Mick Astley is now up into 4th place, and it just goes to show what never giving up can do for you. Out in the lead, it's still the Pineapple Head holding firm in the lead of this race. And what I'm saying about consistency, look at those lap times. Yes, he's put in a 57.0 as a super hot lap, but he's sailed into a nice little rhythm of low 59s, high 58s. And that's his kind of consistent pace on those soft compound tyres. He's probably got another couple of laps left in them before he's got to change them out. I said 8 laps. He could probably do 9, maybe 10 laps on them. We're looking at 30 lap races, so at some point he's going to have to run the hard compound tyres. Now it's whether he chooses to go 2 stop, soft, hard, or does he go soft, and then jump in and then do a little blast on the hards for one lap like those that started early did. Certainly a possibility. I suppose it's really, that's going to be dictated by what Lee Cole decides to do. At the moment, Lee Cole back there in 2nd. Now Lee Cole slightly benefits from being behind Pineapple Head in that he can kind of base his pit strategy on what the car ahead of him does. Now, of course, the weight in Pineapple Head's car does burn through those soft compound tyres that little bit quicker than that of Lee Cole, who's not carrying the same kind of weight on the car. The benefit to Lee Cole, twofold really. One, obviously having a lighter car and being able to stay out longer on those soft compound tyres is kind of a lot. Also alongside the benefit of knowing when Pineapple Head's gone in, because he'll be going in. Not only will he be going in sooner, but he'll be able to see what tyres he's putting on, what strategy he's going to opt for, whether he's going to go for a long stint on the hard tyres, whether he's going to go in and just run the soft tyres until the end and then do like a full stint on the hards, whether he chooses to go on medium. He can kind of judge that from being behind in 2nd place and monitoring sort of the time that he spends putting fuel on board, that kind of thing. So really good position actually for Lee Cole. And bear in mind, he's only I said 2.2. Little clip of the wall there. Cost him a little bit of time. He's down to 3 seconds behind Pineapple Head. But his lap time's very similar. He's in those mid 58s, low 59s also. So, oh, that was a very, very dodgy line through there. Went a little bit John Deere tractor. That's going to cost him about 2.5 seconds once the dust has settled. Right, 27 seconds back is Pagani, also carrying some significant weight in the car. But he is he's 6.7 seconds ahead of Sideways Zomlar, who is ahead of one joker. Mick Astley dropped back down the order, so he's lost significant places. You can see there. He's clearly had a crash because that's a 2:15.4 for him. He has lost. Oh no, actually he's been in the pits. Ignore me, talking rubbish. He's actually been in the pits, which is why he's dropped down to 7th. And that was a little. To be fair, that for me is a racing incident. You could argue he got clumped there, but the problem there is of course he was losing the back end of his car. And I had a debate recently with someone over an incident that was similar to this, in that a car absolutely got wiped out on a race. I think it was at Spa. No, it wasn't at Spa, it was at Brands Hatch. But the car that got wiped out lost his back end, completely lost his back end. So the car that was behind, he was so close behind him as they came out of the corner, and he was tucking into that slipstream. And as the back end wobbled, it kind of, you had to let off the power and you slow down a little bit, and he just melted into the back of him. And for me, it was nothing more than a racing incident. You can't odds for the car in front of you having that car. So you could imagine that it could happen, but you can't odds for that sort of thing. But there was a bit of a debate as to whether the penalty should be handed out. But I don't even think it was even worth the stewards looking at it, in fairness. But there we go. Moving swiftly on. Dusty Fossil is at the back of the pack. He is on those soft compound tyres. He has been running very, very long. I'll tell you what, he's very, very good at looking after the tyres, because in comparison, let's give you a good comparison point. So we can see there, you can see the tyre wear on Dusty Fossil, and he's not been in the pits yet. He started on fresh tyres and with a full tank of fuel, as did everybody else. I'm our Bruce Lee. Look at the difference there. I mean, much more fuel burn as well. Absolutely melting through that fuel like it's not like the most expensive thing on earth at the moment. But look at the Pineapple Head's tyres in comparison. Now look, there's always going to be the argument. Look, he's a second and a half, 2 seconds a lap faster, of course. So he is going to burn a bit more fuel. He is going to take a little bit more out of tyres. But it's a significant difference. Really is significant. Look at that difference between that and that. We're going to see Pineapple Head coming into the pits at the end of this lap. I can't see him staying out, or is he? He looked. Oh no, he's coming in. For me, he looked like he was going pretty darn racing there, and I was wondering whether he would get slowed down in time and get into the pits. So in he goes, and this will promote this guy into the lead of the race. He's going in. Now that is unexpected. He could have stayed out another lap at least. So essentially, he's going to do. Is he going for that kind of strategy? Do whatever he does. So if he goes in, I'm going in. If he stays out, I'll stay out. Maybe that is it's the strategy. Who knows? Pagani also going in. That will free one joker. Does one joker go into the lead of this race? Well, no, because the Pineapple Head is already out. Any places gained for one joker? Because he's currently 4th joker at the moment. Up into 3rd. He's past Pagani. Pagani is still in the pit box. I think he's indeed getting some of that yummy fuel on board. So up into 3rd goes one joker. He's going to be pitting, I imagine, somewhere around, where are we? We're lap 11 now, so I think somewhere around lap 15, lap 16 will be his optimum pit window. Zomlar also into the pits. Dominic up to 5th position. Again, pit window. And that in the distance, that is Mick Astley. And again, taking an interesting line through turn 1. You can see there. Comes down into the braking zone. He goes very, very late on the brakes there. Very late. And gets it all kinds of wrong coming out on the grass. and then back onto track he goes. That was all kinds of wrong. All kinds of wrong. Dominic running in 5th place. That's who we were looking at. We'll continue to do that. He's 12 seconds behind Pagani. He does need to pit at some stage. Again, around anywhere between sort of lap 14 is when we'll see that pit window open for him. Mick Astley, we just saw him going full John Deere. He is 6.4 seconds ahead of Dusty Fossil, who's done a sterling job of looking after that fuel and tyres. Now, based on this, he can actually go way beyond. So I recognise I'm moving the microphone because I recognise I'm leaning away from the mic in a kind of sexy way. Of course. Not that you can see me doing it, and trust me, you don't want to see it. Particularly because I do all my broadcasts completely naked. I don't, but now you've got that little niggling suspicion in the back of your mind that I'm sitting there doing this completely starkers. But I don't know. So Dusty Fossil, he's... but where he's looked after the tyre and fuel so well, he can probably go as far into this race as lap 20 before he needs to change out. I think it really depends on the drop-off, particularly on that rear right tyre, which I know you do actually. It depends on the drop-off on these tyres, which it's kind of touch and go really with the drop-off. Sometimes you see massive drop-offs on the tyres, and sometimes they kind of hold out quite well. Whether he chooses to go that deep into the race, because of course the big factor in deciding how deep you go is pace. Because if you're losing too much time, and I see it so often I see it with some drivers, and there's a few drivers that I know and that I race with on a regular basis that are incredibly good at fuel saving. I mean they are brilliant, absolute. You know, you think of the person you know that's best at fuel saving, and they will go a lap, 2 laps further every time. They'll one stop a two stop race all day long. But what you find sometimes is the ability to fuel save and the benefits that brings you. Sometimes it's used incorrectly. Sometimes you think, well, I can. These guys are going to pit on lap 11. I'm going to stay out until lap 18, 19. But what you don't realise is that what actually you might be doing is harming yourself, because if you're losing 1.5 seconds a lap by doing that, over the course of those extra 6 or 7 laps, you've all of a sudden, we're talking 10, 12, 15, 20, 25 seconds you're giving up. 25 seconds is a quick blast in the pits to change your tyres. 25, 30 seconds. So sometimes actually it can do you more harm than good. But right now, I think Dusty Fossil, if you look at his lap times, his lap times are comparable with all of them. He's running anywhere between. I mean, his fastest lap is a 2:05, but his consistent pace 2:01.3, 2:01, and actually the consistency there is very good. Low 2:01s all the way, apart from one anomaly there on lap 10. But yeah, it's very, very solid. If you can maintain that pace all the way through, right until sort of lap 18, 19, 20, then it's a short run to the end of this race on the hard compound tyre. I'm hard, Bruce Lee. He's been into the pits, he's put on the hards. Is he going to run all the way to the end of this race on those hard compound tyres? Or is he going to opt to get rid of them at the earliest possible opportunity and switch back onto some yummy, grippy softs? I know what I'd be doing, and it wouldn't be more than 1 lap on the hard compound tyres. I can tell you that for nothing. Dominic Kabinski, he is tucked in behind the great Zomlar. Zomlar, grant you 3 wishes. Sorry, man. Sorry. He was tucked in behind, but he just seems to have lost a little bit of pace at the top of the hill. And now just dropping off 1.3 seconds and clipping the wall there. That's not going to do him any favours, although he doesn't seem to have lost too much time. Running in 7th, of course, is Zomlar. Out in front, though, there is your race leader. 19 seconds clear. He went in and pit at the end of lap 10. has come back out on the soft compound tyres, absolutely chucking it around here. Even at this stage of the race, it's very difficult to look past Pineapple Head for the double win. Really, he's just looked so phenomenally quick all day, and this clearly is his favoured track because very quick around here. Lee Cole staying in the fight. I mean, he went in the same time. He went. It was end of lap 10. He went in. It must be this lap that he's had some sort of problem because his lap time since he came out on lap 11, pretty much comparable, a little bit slower, but certainly not slow enough to be 21 seconds behind behind Pineapple. But that just puts him a little bit closer to Pagani. Pagani, of course, is 9.9 seconds behind Lee Cole. Shall we? I need to work out who's in which team, don't I? Teams. Right, so Lee Cole's teammate is I think that's Pagani, isn't it? That's his teammate. I think it would be a remiss for it not to be him, wouldn't it? Or maybe not. Just 199 there. So Pagani's teammate is actually Joker. Joker back in 5th place. Why do you have the same livery on your teammates, man? Put the same livery on your car. Trying to confuse the hell out of me. And there's Joker, of course, with the 69, dude. Congratulations for getting that. Dusty Fossil's teammate Lead is not here. He's certainly not in the lead. Boom, boom. Hasn't scored that many points today, which is actually going to cost. I think, in terms of Dusty Fossil's performance, he was 3rd in the AM Championship and looking pretty darn racy. But in terms of the team performance, it's cost him significantly. And he will need to pit, I think, I said lap 20, I think probably lap 18 is going to be more realistic than looking at the tyres now. But he's obviously on his lonesome out there today. But coming up behind the Joker, whose teammate Pagani is running in 3rd. Zomlar! Where's his teammate? His teammate is Thick Dane, who's not racing today, so he's all by himself. Witchell's not racing either. Witchell has been joining us in the chat. Pine GTS is not racing, but Pineapple Head, unless that's Pine, that might be Pine GTS, I don't know. Is that Pine GTS? How the hell should I know? I suppose I could do this, couldn't I? Yeah, that is Pine. I suppose Pineapple, Pine. Makes kind of sense now, doesn't it? Use your brain. See, this is what happens at this time of day. My brain just gets frazzled and rubbish just pours out of it. So Pine is Pine GTS, so yeah, he's carrying loads and loads away, of course. And I did know that. I don't know why I suddenly forgot. And I am Ard Bruce Lee, and his teammate is not there this evening, or is it Dom? I don't know. I'm lost. I should have paid more attention in school, but I didn't. Anyway, so Pineapple Head leads the way still, and to be fair, he's been absolutely. You can see from Thanks, Richard. To be fair, it kind of, now I see Pineapple, it kind of makes sense, but I'm an idiot. It's just these stupid things that I do. I'll give you an example. I do a Formula 1 broadcast on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And there's a driver in there racing on Tuesday called Drunk Pirate. He changed his name recently to Drunk Susan. And I was like, oh, he's new. Well, Drunk Pirate's disappeared. There's a Drunk Susan there. Same race number, same team. And this is my 3rd season doing their broadcast, so... Yeah, I'm an idiot. But he's been very dominant. Clearly, Pine has been very, very dominant. Top of the leaderboard, carrying the most weight, but because he's super, super quick. He's actually coming up behind That is, who's that in? It's I'm Bruce Lee, coming up behind him to lap him here on lap number 16. So a little bit of free slipstream for the race leader. Comes round, making it, to be fair, nice and easy overtake there. One, he's super quick, and two, well, blue flags, get out of the freaking way, boy. He's actually a Portuguese. He's a Portuguese. Did you mean to write Portuguese? I hope so, because that's it now. So Zom's a Portuguese. It says Great Britain, but he's not. The Great Zomla is a Portuguese. He's running in 6th place behind one Joker, 11 seconds behind one Joker. And look at this is what I love about Bathurst. As the light starts to fade as you come through the mountain, it just looks awesome. And I love it when it gets dark here, because it's a completely different animal when it's dark. You can't see your brake points anymore. You basically, when you're racing Bathurst, you don't want to start in the dark, because that's an absolute nightmare. You want to have found your rhythm as the light fades, and then you're kind of just relying on muscle memory to get you through, particularly the mountain section, because your braking references on the long straights aren't too dissimilar and quite easy to see in the dark. It's through the mountain that you really kind of need to have your wits about you when it gets dark. But it's what it is. It's an awesome feature of this racetrack. Now, I did say I'd talk to you a little bit about this racetrack. And the reason I know so much about it is I've got a very good friend who lives 10 miles from here, if that, and has given me the complete lowdown on this awesome racetrack. So who is closest to the start for us? Right. So here we go. This is we'll go on board like this so you can see what I want to show you. Right, so here we go. So the main entrance to the complex of roads is there straight ahead of you. That's where you would normally drive it in. Now these roads are used during the day as normal. Very strict enforcement on speeds. You're not allowed to go over 15 miles an hour on these roads, and they have their own security service. You can see on the right hand side, see all those little tarmac tracks. They are all tracks leading to all the properties around here. On the left hand side, there's an entrance to a farm up there. That's one of the bigger houses here at Bathurst. There's a park, and there's a reason it's named after a park, is because there is a kids' park. Where the pylons are, there's a park up there, like a kids' play area. But loads more houses. As you come round here now, round this section, the Sawmill Park is there on the right hand side. And then you'll see on the right, the little roads disappearing off up. There it is, there where the ambulance is. And there's a series of houses there. There's another one right there overlooking the racetrack, of course. Or the racing circuit, and then there's a lot through the middle as well. So it's quite a vibrant village or vibrant community. There's a lot of properties. There's a lot more properties there than you think. Obviously, they're a lot more spread out, being that it's Australia, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's obviously got the massive campsite in the middle, which is used for the racing events, and you can see that they've put some on the right hand side there as well. But there are working farms all around there, and it's a really cool area. But the fines for speeding around here are massive, because obviously people are tempted to drive up there. And they've actually got, it's not necessarily a gated community, but there is a security service that operate around the streets here. And if you're not local, you do kind of get checked out to see what you're doing. But if you do live here, what essentially they've got a series of tunnels which go underneath the racetrack, so that when they're operating the 24-hour events and that kind of thing, you can actually get out to the main road, which lead out behind that house there on your right hand side. There you go. There's some big up knowledge about the Bathurst racetrack that you didn't know before, and if you did know, you know again. How about that? Wealth of knowledge today from the Urban Pirate. You were today years old when you lost 10 minutes of your life while I waffled about Mount Panorama at you. So there's your race leader, as we head into lap 19 of what will be a 30 multi-lap race here at Mount Panorama. This is the feature race, of course. The first race was won by this guy, the championship leader Pine, who is taking this championship with a bang, an absolute huge bang, because he is 28 seconds clear of anybody else. He can actually. Now, I was questioning earlier on when the gap was 2.8 seconds. I was questioning whether he was going to do a kind of soft, hard strategy. He's now in a position where he can do soft, and then do one lap on hards. The pace he's got on those soft compound tyres, the gap he's got, has given him that as a really viable option. And I think that's probably what he's going to do. I could be wrong. He could go in now, get some hard compound tyres on, and go, "You got that wrong, didn't you?" But yeah, he's a silly goose. That's what he is. Lee Cole. He's not got it all his own way in second now, because he's got Pagani right there, right on top of him. And that's the last place you want to see. He is being swarmed over like the last girl in the nightclub before the lights go up. He is tucked right in there behind Pagani, and Pagani is. And he's going to make a move down Conrad because he's so close. Good exit as well. Is he going to make this move into the chase? He's going to make the move happen before the chase, because you can see here, actually he's not. He seems to have slowed up a little bit, so I'm wondering whether he is, and he is absolutely fuel saving. He is looking up, so rather than, normally if you're pushing hard, you power through that little right hand kink and then slam on your anchors at the 150 board. When you're fuel saving, you lift and coast around there, and you leave it to about 100 metres before you break in, or just after 100 metres before you break in. So at the moment, that's why he didn't make the move, because he is just looking after his fuel a little bit. So his next stop is not necessarily quite so long. We look at Lee Cole. Let's have a look at tyres and fuel actually for the pair of these. You can see there. So I think we can rest assured that he knows what he's doing. So here, and you can see the difference in the wear. There is a little bit more fuel. There's a little bit more tyre grip left there for Lee Cole over Pagani, but for all intents and purposes, there's not significant difference. Now Pagani does actually have the fastest lap of the race on a 1:56.9, and his pace is not too dissimilar to that of Pine out in the lead. And you have to wonder whether, now, if I remember rightly, Pagani was one of those that put on the hard compound tyres for one lap and then ditched them early on. Now, we know that Pine still has to do that, still has to run those hard compound tyres. So does this bring Pagani back into this race? Has he kind of engineered himself a very smart strategy here? I wouldn't completely look. I think Pine's got this sewn up. I don't think by any stretch of imagination he's going to be an easy man to beat. But I wouldn't completely count Pagani out at this stage if he keeps it clean and he maintains this kind of pace. Even with lifting and coasting, maintaining this pace, absolutely paramount. And again, tucked in behind Lee Cole. Is he looking to make the move again? No, he's just looking to lift and coast and save the fuel. Is he going for one more lap? And if he's not, then why isn't he just pushing for this final in lap? I know he is coming in. He is absolutely coming in. So actually didn't need to lift and coast. He could have pushed through. So they're into the pits. We'll see that gap open right out. One joker. There he is. We're going to have to get up close and personal with the cars now, aren't we? Now it's getting dark. I do have a little trick actually if we do a night race to get a better view of the cars, but you can't do it when you're racing. You have to change the coloration. What I'm thinking, the thingy-majig, the contrast thingy. For a minute there, when it went pitch black, I thought I'd been disconnected. I haven't, of course. So one joker. Here we go. Look how cool this looks in the dark. Heading down into. We can see the cars properly through here. Past the grandstands, cross the line, lit up for all to see, and then into Hell Corner we go. Tree trunk's no longer there. That tree trunk was an absolute killer, and then we head up the hill in the pitch black. And just look at this view. This is what I want to do this. This is my favourite view from inside the car. And it's a shame you can't really look around in this view though. Real crying shame. You can do in this view though. And at the moment, look, pitch black behind, nothing behind him, just clear road ahead into the mountain section we go. So let's do a full rundown from the back actually, because we want to see what these guys at the back are doing. So Bruce Lee, he's got a few cars lapping him now coming through. He is 1 minute 41 seconds behind the great Zomlar. He is of course running to the end of this race now, but that's quite some way back, and his pace is off. And yeah, it's probably my kind of speed-ish. I want to race him because he still probably beat me, but it's more my kind of pace, I think. Zomlar, it's 3.2 seconds behind Dominic. You see Dominic just ahead into heading up into the mountain. Just to see the tail lights at the back end of that Viper just getting a little bit squirrely. The flash of lights and the hazard lights on, and yeah, any little bit of extra light you can get when you come up through here, absolute paramount. But you can see the difference in like, finding your braking points. You are kind of relying now more on memory of the racetrack than you are on your visual clues. You see there just getting a little bit squirrely on that grass. Doesn't pick up a penalty, but yeah. Dominic is right in behind Dusty Fossil. He's on the softs, Dusty Fossil also on the softs. And what an exit he got out of there. He is going to breeze past Dusty Fossil. Side by side, just ahead at the moment, Dusty, just edging it. Now for me, this is where Dominic just let off, jumping behind in that slipstream and get that extra bit of a pull. But instead he opts to go side by side, but he's up the inside. Can he make the move stick on the inside? Doesn't it? I'll tell you what, that's very clean, because there's a big danger there of forcing Dusty wide and taking that position, but he absolutely kept that nailed on clean. And Dusty maintains sixth, but for how long can he hold off the charge of Dominic Kubinski? Do you know what I really need like one of them echo machines like that. For no other reason, I think it would have sounded pretty darn cool. So he does actually, not only does he fight him off with a sticky stick, he is now half a second clear, Dusty Fossil, and Dominic has to go again and try and find another way through.
Wow, it's very nice.
It is indeed very nice. Yes, so we'll have a look back in that battle in a minute, because I think it's still going to rage on. 17 seconds up the road is Mick Astley. He's 28 seconds behind a one Joker, 17 behind Lee Cool. Lee Cool, though, Pagani is past him. Is he going to be able to fight back? That's the big fundamental question. Pagani into the pits, Lee Cool into the pits. They're back out now for the final 15 minutes of this race. Lap 23 of what I think will be 30/31 here at Bathurst. Pagani holding off the challenge of Lee Cole, who is, I think, going to drift off into the distance now with Pagani's pace. Now, Pineapple Head has pit. Very nice. Yes, thanks very much. Yeah, Pineapple Head has pit. He's on the hard compound tyres. Now, I said that he'd done enough to be able to do one lap on the hards and then move on to the softs. But actually, he hasn't. Because if he goes in now, and that's very wide! How did he not die going through there? Absolutely, to me, looked like we were going to lose him to the realm of the dead. And look how wide he goes on the grass here. Just somehow keeps his foot in and holds that. That is phenomenally well done. Yeah, I don't know how he managed to hold that. Now, the problem that he's got is he can't go in and change to the soft compound tyres for fear of losing track position to Pagani. Pagani now only 16 seconds behind. The problem, of course, is what sort of pace is he going to have on those hard tyres. Has he got enough pace on those hard tyres, or is he just going to be like super brave and go for that kind of soft strategy? I think he's going to stay as he is on the hards and take his chances and roll the dice. At the end of the day, he's got track position. 17 seconds is the gap. Now, 2 minutes 3, a significant drop in pace, and that was his first hot lap after the pits. So I'll tell you what, watch this space, because I think this guy right here, Pagani, I think he's going to be there or thereabouts come the end of this race, you know. In fact, the pace he's got at the minute, if he continues to be 3 seconds a lap faster, which, yeah, he's about 3 seconds a lap faster, he will, in about, now we're going to lap 30, he will potentially, on that last lap, be right on Pine. And I think Pine's going to have to find some sort of repellent to keep him at bay. But he's got to maintain this pace. He's got to maintain this 3 seconds a lap. Now, what I will say is I think the pair of them, I'm looking at the fuel on the pair of them, and I think the pair of them are well overfueled to the end of this race. And actually could have put on significantly less. And had they done that, this could be a very, very different story. But, you know, it is what it is, and it is what we are where we are, should I say. In third, there's Lee Cool. He couldn't hold Pagani at bay, but he is 17 seconds clear of one Joker. There is one Joker, of course, running in fourth. 23 seconds clear of Mickey Boy. Never going to give him up. He's 16 seconds clear of Dominic. He's 4.9 ahead of Dusty Fossil, who is now 15 seconds ahead of Zomlar. So Dominic passed Dusty Fossil up into sixth and got that overtake done eventually. We thought he might, and yes, he did. But he's now 14 seconds ahead of Zomlar. Zomlar 53 seconds ahead of Aymar Boujli, who is 2.5 minutes behind your race leader. Gonna stay here with this because the gap is down to 13 seconds. I think we're going to be doing a bit of an onboard charge for a win here for Pagani. Put it this way, it's in his hands. Yes, you could argue, well, no, actually it's in Pine's hands because he's in the lead. Problem is, he can't pit now for soft compound tyres because the gap's too small. He needs to find more time because Pagani is, even at 2 minutes a lap, he's taking 2 to 2.5 seconds a lap out of Pineapple. 1:48.4 was his last lap. He's down. The gap's down to under 12 seconds, and we've still got 5 laps remaining. In terms of the position on the racetrack, nothing in it. It won't be long before we do this, and we see the headlights of Pagani behind him. In fact, I think we're going to see them when we go onto the Conrod in a minute. He's going to see those headlights shining in his mirror. And remember, objects can appear closer than they are. Or not, maybe. So I think here they look much further away. So we'll see here, he's out onto Conrod. And if we look back in the distance, I don't know if we're going to be able to see them. See those lights back there? That's Pagani. He's coming. 8.6 seconds now is that gap. He is absolutely gunning it, Pagani, for the win here. And I tell you what, it's going to be darn close.
Everybody strap in!
Final 10 minutes. Pineapple leads from Pagani. Lee Cool in third. Joker is in fourth. Mick Astley running in fifth. Dominic in sixth. Dusty Fossil in seventh. Zomlar is in eighth. And Bruce Lee is in ninth position. They're your 9 runners this evening. This, if you didn't already know, is the GT Invitational Racing League with our glorious host from Team Hard, Dusty Fossil, who is currently running in 7th position. But Pineapple is absolutely gunning for this race. But the man we're on board with right now, Pagani, has got other plans, and his plans are to snatch that victory for himself. Now, he went with the timeless strategy, as I open a Pepsi, to wet the old throat. Thank you, actually. Yeah, he went for the timeless approach of one lap on the rubbishy tyres, bin them, get on the softs and get cracking with some racing. And it's proved to be an absolute nail-on strategy, and he's had to let off there. I'll tell you what, that was very similar to what we saw Pine do a couple of laps ago. But Pine, even on the hard compound tyres, was able to power through that. Pagani couldn't. Pagani lost a bit of time there, and the gap down to 8.8 seconds, but that is a bit of a blow in this charge because we've only got a finite amount of laps left, and that would be about 4. So he's going to need to get a wriggle on if he wants to have that challenge. That's going to set him back a little bit. But in terms of the overall lap times, Pine is in the... he's been in the low 202s on these hard compound tyres, but averaging low 203s. Pagani on the softs, 58.4, 57.6, but mid to high 58's absolutely nailed on. You can see there, look, lap 18 and 17, a 158.888 on both. That is absolute nailed on perfection in terms of consistency. You can't ask for anything more consistent than that. You could ask for it, but you ain't gonna get it. So there we go, 7.8 seconds left in the charge down. We can look at the cars like this if you really want to. Loving the sound effects are awesome. Right, so there is Pine. He is up into the mountain. 7.7 seconds clear of Pagani. 10.2 seconds back to Lee Cole. He's not catching them anytime soon. But it will take a monumental mistake for One Joker, who's going into the pits now, to catch him. So that 20.9 second gap to Lee Cole is going to get significantly bigger. Does Mick Astley get through? Yes, he does. He never gave up. He never let anyone down, and he ran around, but he didn't get fourth. But he is up to racing speed. One Joker on fresh soft tyres, of course, but Mick Astley, does he get the run into the top of the hill here, side by side, round the outside, just like the two Trailer Park Girls I keep in my shed? No, he's through. Mick Astley is through. How long can he hold off One Joker is the predominant question here, of course. Dominic Kurbinski running in 6th place. He's 9.4 ahead of our glorious host this evening, Mr. Dusty Fossil. Thank you very much. 5.3 ahead of the great Zomlar. And he's a minute now ahead of I'm Bruce Lee, who is karate kicking his way around the mountain. Probably should be using the loud pedal more. So there we go. Pagani fastest man on the racetrack. Pagani now only 3.7 seconds behind Pine. That gap closing all the time. And Pine now looking in his mirrors, and what does he see? He sees a whole load of that. Those lights there, that is Pagani, and he's coming. In fact, he's so close now, he's almost lighting up the racetrack ahead of Pine. Can Pine find a way to hold him at bay? Because I have a feeling that somewhere on lap 30, maybe somewhere on lap 29, we're going to see Pagani giving some significant worry to the rear end of Pine, and not in a fun, happy, lubricated kind of way, in a get out of my way, I'm coming through kind of way. Again, he gets really, this time he does have to let off. This time he does have to let off the power. That's got Pagani right there. He's right on him now. That mistake has cut that gap down to 1.6 seconds. He's not going to be close enough in the slipstream to get him down Conrad this time. But I tell you what, significant inroads are going to be made in the next few corners, because we've got, 4 corners left before we start the final, or the penultimate lap of this race, and I think that's when we're going to see Pagani making his big, bold move. He's going to go in for the kill. What has Pine got to stop him? Remember, his car is heavier. Yes, we know Pagani is carrying some weight, but he's not carrying the kind of weight that Pine is, and Pagani is on better tyres. He is looking fresher, and he is quickety quick. 1.1 seconds as we cross the line to start lap 29 here at Bathurst, and this has been an absolutely phenomenal end to this race. And you know, there was a stage when it opened up a little bit, you weren't quite sure what was going on, and here we see the strategies are starting to play out now. 1.3 seconds, he's managed to open up the gap a little bit. Has he held something back? Is there something in the tank that he's held on to just to ensure that he can keep Pagani at bay? I don't know how he's going to do it, because particularly through the mountain here, those hard compound tyres just don't have the traction out of the corners. They don't have the grip through those sweeping bends that that Pagani's going to have behind. And let's face it, if Pagani is in that slipstream coming into Conrod, which he very likely will be, yeah, I think it sucks to have anyone behind you like that, because especially if you've seen the gap coming down, so you know. I mean, when it was 19 seconds, I think at that stage, if he goes in, bins those hard tyres, sacrifices track position for the softs, I think it's race on. I think the potential's there. But once the gap gets 17, 16, 15 seconds, that opportunity's gone, and you've just got to kind of run with it and hope that something goes wrong. But at the moment, it's a hard position to be in. You know, he's essentially got a lap and a bit to keep him at bay, and I don't know how he's going to do it. I mean, fair enough. I mean, it is down to Pagani to not only catch but also overtake, because it is. We talk about catching. I mean, oh bloody hell, he has caught there. It is one thing to catch it and another thing to overtake. But I think when you've got such a differential in grip and torque and exit speed, particularly, it's going to be so hard, so hard. But last lap, chase down. Here we go, and that's the view we want. We want to watch this chase down from the hood of this car, and we can see the gap down to half a second. By the time we get to the top of the mountain straight, that's going to be probably 3/10 as Lee Cole into the pits. Is he going to lose third place here? 40 seconds is the gap. He may well not. Mick Astley might not be close enough to capitalise, and here we go into the mountain for the final time this evening, and very, very close to the back. He's just going to have to bide his time here. Now, it could be that Pine has done just enough, you know. If Pine can keep Pagani at bay and get a half-decent exit out of the Forest Elbow, particularly with the gap being as it is right now, then could potentially keep him at bay. It is very exciting. Very excited. It is nice. I'm very excited. Here we go. So we're going to find out anytime. No, he's so close now. So close. Pagani just reading him in. He said, "Come here, little fishy." And you got Pine going, "No, boy, leave me alone." But is he going to make the move here? It would be suicide for me to make the move here, surely. Did they have a coming together? Was there a little touchy there between these two coming out of the Forest Elbow? I want to have a look here, because it looked to me... No! It wasn't a touch! It was a mistake! A costly error from Pine. Just couldn't hold off in the end. The demands of that pressure from Pagani just got to him, and he got inside his head, and he just got too brave with the loud pedal right at the last, and Pagani in the end takes his win convincingly. Wah-wee-woo-wah.
Wow, is very nice. Johnny loves Chachi.
Pagani takes the win. All the applause is for you, my friend. All this applause. And what a chase down that was on the final lap, the final few laps. Pine, brilliant race all day. He's been but second best in the last stint there in this 60-minute race. But up until this point, absolutely flawless. Lee Cole put on hard tyres for that last lap. Will come home in third. Does hold off the charge of Mick Astley. I've got a Rick Astley story actually. When I was a kid, he was famous. I was with a mate and we were off school that day. It was something teacher's training or something. And he was having breakfast in a cafe in Fulham. And we started blowing like raspberries on the window, and he got really angry and threw his fork at the window and told us to fuck off. Anyway, one joker is in fifth, Dominic Kubinski in sixth, Dusty Fossil in seventh, and some other people finished as well. We'll do the full classified rundown now. But what a finish there from Pagani. Absolutely phenomenal race from him. Congratulations. Right, so there we go. This is the final classified rundown. And I tell you what, a 1:56.9 fastest lap from Pagani is not too shabby. That is qualifying pace in a race. So, everyone, of course, in the SRT GT3 Viper, Pagani takes the win from Pineapple Head, who lost his Pineapple Head right at the last after the pressure from Pagani on that chase down. Lee Cole takes third, Mick Astley in fourth, one joker in fifth, Dominic Kubinski takes sixth place, Dusty Fossil in seventh, the Great Zomlar finishes in eighth, and I am Ard Bruce Lee comes in ninth place. There we go. We're done. We're finished. How about that for a pretty darn good race? That was all right, wasn't it? I enjoyed that. I thought that was all right. So, there we go. That is a season 2 over. I have no idea what the tables look like. You'll find it on the Discord. You know where to look for it. See if you can find it where it may be. All that's left to say really is look out for season 3, because it's a coming. Keep an eye out on the Instagram, on the GTI Instagram for season 3. All that's left to say really though is thank you very much for joining me. I have been Pirate. This is Black Flag Racing TV, and we have been live with the GT Invitational. And that was the culmination of season 2. We're done. Congratulations to Pagani, takes the win in that feature race. It's been emotional.